Attorney Neri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Um, I think the bill is proper because it implements a particular section, an article of the Constitution which requires na magpasanga ang Kongreso. Ang hinihingi ko lang, and I have to comment this with my friend Senator Coco, dapat ang batas clear para hindi magkagulo. These are very dangerous times. Namatay yung apat na or disable. Medyo fluid ito. May banggaan dito kung sinong sunod na acting president. Dapat clear. Ang problem, pag nag-decide ay yung una muna, yung phrase without, not under any disability, pwede talagang ma-challenge yung term na yan. Na pag may na-appoint dyan na cabinet member, DFA secretary, the DILG or even the DND can challenge the ability of the, I'm not leaving it to chance na may, in fact, anybody like me, pwede kong i-challenge si DFA secretary. Hindi ka able. Nung panahon na yung China, tahimik ka sa China, you're a traitor. I mean, di ba, marami namang tahimik sa China noong unang administrasyon. Ngayon lang naman nagsasalita. So there can be questions of, human rights violator ka, DND. So medyo may vagueness on the issue of the ability and disability. Pangalawa, the fate of the president para sa akin, Mr. Chair, kasi nakalagay dyan sa bill, upon the confirmation of the appointment of the Commission on Appointments, ayaw kong i-leave sa, mas political lang ko dito reason Kasi ayaw kong i-leave ang fate ng acting president sa kamay ng Commission on Appointments who've always decided on a political consideration among many other considerations. I mean, I don't think that the CA should withhold or affirm depende sa maging beholden tuloy si acting president sa CA. Pangalawa, pwede rin i-challenge ang constitutionally, Mr. Chair. The appointment came from a principal who was dead. Patay na So isn't it void? Or deemed withdrawn? Tapos na yung nag-appoint na presidente, patay na. So he's no longer a cabinet member in that sense pa. So ano na yung live doon sa CA? Hindi na yon. That appointment pending in the CA is no longer valid because the principal is dead. So para sa akin, coterminous ang CA, ang cabinet member kasi So it can be, may vagueness siya na pwedeng ma-exploit. Now, there could be questions, ang initial ko na thoughts, why not trying the Chief Justice? Kasi ang Supreme Court, may ranking din sila May hierarchy din sila. Hindi siya elected, but a cabinet member is also not elected, di ba? So executive, hindi naman executive yung Speaker of the House. So sa akin, siyempre, magre-resign ang whoever is the acting president. Magre-resign siya, hindi siya pwedeng Chief Justice. O separation of power siya. Or cabinet member for that matter, resign din siya. So, and the Speaker of the House cannot be the Speaker of the House and acting president. Mag-resign din siya doon. All of them who become acting president to resolve any conflicts in constitutional issues, dapat mag-resign sila lahat. So sa akin, medyo hindi ganun ka-clear pag itong mga cabinet members ang magre-replace at maraming constitutional challenges na dadaanan, and we cannot afford a delay in deciding kung sino yung acting president kasi the more we delay, tumultos talaga yung kalagayan natin. So that's my 1 cent contribution, Mr. Chair.
Sir Dick Benson.
Mr. Chairman, having heard from former members of the Constitutional Assembly and other lawyers here, talaga pag ang isang kwarto na puno ng abogado, hahaba usapan Pero ano po, dito sa Senate Bill 921 ni Senator Pimentel, I think this is already addressing the issues, the main issues. Dahil pag ang apat na pinakamataas na namumuno sa bayan ay incapacitated na, wala na tayo dapat na iniintindi pa regarding the separation of powers. Kung ang rason kaya nawala yung apat ay dahil sa isang kalamidad o isang ibang klaseng pangyayari, siguro ang dapat mag-succeed following the track of the executive is the DILG secretary as recommended. Kung nawala yung apat dahil we are in a state of war, dapat siguro yung Secretary of National Defense. Imposible na siguro mentioned in all our previous constitutions, including the current 87 Constitution, It is the Congress that can mandate this. It is assigned to the Congress. So to simplify it, why don't we just designate if we lost the 5 top officials because of a calamity or acts of God, then DILG takes over, Secretary. Acting lang naman siya until there is an election. If they lost their lives or they were incapacitated because of war, then the Secretary of National Defense, as provided for by law. So, sino pa magrereklamo nun? Yung DILG or DND Secretary, once they assume as acting president, I'm sure the Undersecretary will take over as SND. Thank you.
DILG, tinutulak na po kayo. Kaya ba?
Magandang hapon po, Senator Mr. Chair and Senator Coco and Senator Tolentino. Ang ating pong panukalang batas ay nararapat lang po. Ayan pong una namin gusto sabihin na kailangan na po ito. Ngayon tungkol po dun sa succession, nailatag naman po ni Senator Pimentel yung tatlo na sino-sino pong posible. May merito rin po ang sinasabi po ng ating kasama kanina na ang DILG Secretary din po ay dapat sa kanyang pananaw ay maging acting. Okay din ho yun kasi po ay kaya ho yun kasi siya naman po ang tinitingin sa lahat po ng local government. Hawak niya po ang PNP, hawak niya po ang BJMP, hawak niya po ang BFP. Okay din ho yun. Ang sa akin lang ho, baka mas maganda po dagdagan pa po natin yung listahan. Tulad po sa US Constitution, mas mahabang listahan, mas maganda po kasi hindi po natin masasabi po, no? Ang ating konstitusyon, hindi ho ganun kadali palitan, hindi ho ganun kadali i-amenda. Kaya kung tayo po ay mag-aamenda, siguraduhin na ho natin na nandito na ho lahat. Dagdagan na ho natin po siguro ang akin hong pananaw.
Maraming salamat po. Teka po, yun lang muna pong hindi pa nakapagsalita. Reverend Veronica, opo.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. At pong issue tungkol sa succession, isa po lamang to sa napakaraming issue na dapat talagang palitan ng ating konstitusyon because our constitution today, 1987, has no good sense. Tsaka full of contradiction. Pati yung principle for governance ay salusalungat. Katulad po dyan sa ating konstitusyon, kailangan maunawaan po ng tao noon ang ating po mga mambabatas, ating po mga mamamayan, yung pong principle ng persons in authority at saka persons of agents of persons in authority. Yung pong succession natin dito, lahat po yan nasa prinsipyo ng ang succession ay sa persons in authority. Ang mga persons in authority, mga elected po yan. Halal po ng taong bayan yan. Wala akong busyang kundi ang bayan. Yun pong mga inappoint, DILG, they are only agents of persons in authority. So they don't necessarily follow the succession for even only as officer in charge in case of maano. Kaya ako sinasabi ko, kailangan paltan natin talaga yung ating konstitusyon. Habang may panahon pa ho tayo, huwag na natin antayin na mangyari ang mga bagay na yan. Dahil isa lamang ho yan sa napakaraming issue na nagko-contradict. Doon pa ho lamang sa first 10 articles at mga sections. Makikita niya doon sa mga sections ng first articles ng ating Constitution, napakaraming contradiction. Magkakagulo talagang dahil it is of no good sense. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat. Bago ko po kayo tawagin, bigay ko lang po yung ating munang kay Senator Tol.
I came from an executive hearing concerning the event that transpired last June 17 in Ayungin Shoal. Tanungin ko lang siguro si Minority Leader, Is this measure, hindi ko, I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with the bills under consideration. Is this measures encompassing enough to consider a situation during a post-presidential election scenario wherein after June 30, wherein the supposed to be newly elected president, vice president will take their oath, including the members of the Congress, following an election. In case a force majeure or any fortuitous event, a scenario happens wherein after June 30, no oath taking, no election successfully concluded. And what we have in place will be just 12 elected senators coming from that 6-year term. Would that be included? Because there will only be 12 elected senators holding office. All the members of Congress, their terms expired, newly elected, not yet proclaimed, haven't taken their oath yet, including the president and the vice president. What happens then? There are only 12. This is a continuing Senate, which we have discussed before. And I understand during the last elections, there was a resolution passed then, and unknown to many, on who will be the Senate president, because there is no Senate president to speak of after June 30. That was the previous Congress, whose term can be considered as functus officio. So walang Senate, walang Congress, walang president, walang vice president. So you only have 12 elected, nationally elected senators coming from a 6-year term, with the remaining 3-year term tenure. So is this part, Your Honor? Is this including perhaps the DLG secretary or other cabinet officials, their terms elapsed? So pasok din pa ho dito? Is that included was that factored in, Your Honor?
Well, the scenario is precisely that the being addressed is what is that scenario, plus as pointed out by one of our resource persons, paragraph 2 of section 8. Section 7 bali itong scenario ni Majority Leader. But he raises a very good point nga that the successors I have listed could also have expired terms or lapsed terms. I'm not so worried about yung holding any other office or employment kasi acting capacity to. I also do not agree that they should be deemed resigned kasi nasa constitution nito, should this happen, the Senate President, kunyari, kung the Senate President succeeds, then he's able to now call for the election of the President and Vice President, then he's deemed resigned. Hindi. Dapat hindi siguro ganun ang interpretation nun. I mean, he goes back, or he remains a Senate President, but he had an additional duty as acting President. So yun. And then, dung observation ni Attorney Colmenares na yung phrase nga, who is not under any disability to discharge the powers that we are giving him, maybe can be a source of dispute. Pero yung meaning ko dito dun sa has been confirmed or approved by the Commission on Appointments, it is the successor is a regular holder, regular secretary na of the not an OIC of the department. That's the meaning of the confirmation of the CA. Not that being an acting president, you need to be confirmed by the CA. So at any rate, Mr. Chairman, the Majority Leader raises also a good point. Siguro yan ang kaibahan nga natin sa I don't know to sa Amerika, bakit sila nag-designate din ng department secretaries when they're also same rule sa atin sila, di ba? Same rule. They're also the alter egos of the president. Di ba? They also lapse their terms. Pero for as long as mag-work pa rin siguro ito for as long as nangyari na yung condition mag-kick in na yung law natin and you are the holder of that position, you're the secretary of that department, you become the acting president. And your purpose is to call for the election so that we will have a regular president and vice president. So na-elevate ka na ron, na-elevate ka. So yung whatever is the let's say you serve at the pleasure of the appointing power of your appointment ends at during the lifetime of the appointing power. By law, nakat na po yun because by law you became acting president and you have a very specific function to perform. Organize the election to determine the next president. Then we are out of the picture automatically. So I believe that's how we should interpret the bill should this become law, Mr. President, because otherwise baka pilay tayo. Pilay tayo at saka we have to give, di ba, interpretation ng constitution. If there's a constitutional provision, you have to find a way to give life to the constitutional provision. We do not interpret the rest of the provisions of the constitution to nullify that constitutional provision. So yan, I believe, Mr. Chairman, that's the best way to approach this kind of conundrum or
Yes, thank you, Minority Leader. Kaya ko lang nabanggit yun kasi I recall during the last presidential elections, there was supposed to be an unnumbered Senate resolution designating an acting Senate president in the event that in the interregnum, no members of Congress, the Senate, the one half, and even the president and the vice president would be proclaimed. So in effect, that acting Senate president coming from the 12 still in office can assume the presidency. So may ganun po eh. And that's the beauty of the constitution that we have now involving the Senate, because the Senate would be a continuing institution. Kahit anong mangyari, may natitira pang 12 na in office. So yun lang po siguro. Mr. Minority.
Just for the sake of those watching us live streaming natin, yeah. Kasi nga posible kasi na merong Senate President na graduating na rin from the Senate. Posible po 'yun, posible po para alam ng ating mga kababayan. Hindi kami mandated na ang parati namin pipiliing Senate President yung term ano tawag mo doon? The term extends beyond the last election or the upcoming election. Hindi ganon. We can choose a Senate President na naglalaps din yung kanyang term coinciding with the election. He is already possibly siyang term limited na or he does not want to run. Possibly po yun. So yun yung scenario na sabi ni Majority Leader ay in-address nung unnumbered resolution. Sino po ba ang napili?
Hindi ko po alam. Hindi ko po alam.
Okay, isa lang po ang malinaw na... yes sir, Attorney Oliver. Gusto po kayo dagdag? Yes sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, medyo to a large extent pareho yung concerns ko with Attorney Colmenares, particularly about yung interplay of Commission on Appointments confirmation and the operation of these provisions. I think that as written, there may be some practical issues or difficulties that might arise later on. So firstly, the requirement na yung acting president under the law the proposed law must not possess any of the disqualifications for the presidency. So 40 years old, able to read and write. Now, I think ang magiging tanong kasi dyan, lalo na as written, when the president appoints either the DFA secretary, the DILG secretary, the DND secretary, would the president already take into account that this person must be a natural born citizen because they could eventually succeed? And B, yung commission on appointments, would that be or should that be a ground for them to, when considering whether or not to confirm an appointment, that they don't possess yung mga disqualifications na yun? Now, it's possible, of course, na in the end, one of the three will have all of these qualifications. So, and maybe it should just be clarified dahil baka gamitin yan later on the ground ng commission on appointments na wag i-confirm yung isang appointee. But the second issue would be yung the requisite na kailangan confirmed yung any of these three secretaries. I think that we should consider the possibility, for example, in the future that you have a Congress and a president who are adversarial, and as a result, they would be less willing to confirm appointees for the cabinet, and you would have a string of cabinet appointees, even for these sensitive positions, who are not confirmed. So my own suggestion to address that, and echoing some of the views that have already been heard, is to actually expand this list. I think that expanding this list to possibly include all would address both of those concerns. Salamat po.
Si po, Attorney John, ano?
Magandang salamat po, Mr. Chair. Kagalang-galang ng mga senador. Magbibigay lang po ako ng background. No? In 1947, yung ating gobyerno ay nagpasa ng batas ng Republic Act 181. Ito po ang laman po ng batas na in case hindi mag-qualify yung President at saka Vice President, ang susunod ay yung Speaker of the House and then yung Senate President. Ginawa na po ito ng ating gobyerno 77 years ago. Yung Republic Act 181 has never been repealed. Although merong mga nagsasabi na because of the 1973 Constitution, parang dead na ito. Pero ang suggestion ko lang po, pwedeng i-reenact ng Senado at saka ng Congress yung batas na yun. Tapos, ang dagdag lang na pag hindi available yung Speaker at saka yung Senate President at saka Speaker, the Congress and the Senate in joint session can elect from among themselves the acting President. Yun lang po. So in other words, maganda yung panukala ni Senator Coco na kailangan talaga. Pero meron na tayong background nito. This happened, nakita na noong ating gobyerno, noong araw pa, 7 years ago, na kailangan talaga ito, lalo na ngayon. Maraming salamat po.
Tony Paulo?
Mr. Chair, magandang hapon po ulit. Doon po sa suggestion na habaan yung listahan, agree po fully doon. Yung US Presidential Succession Act, mas mahaba po, dihamak and arranged according to when the department was created. So it's the full cabinet list. Yun lang po ang nag-ayos yung seniority. But regarding the confirmation issue po or confirmation requirement, mag-kick in po yung problema doon sa sinasabi ni Senator Tolentino between June 30 and the SONA. Kasi wala pa pong confirmed appointee sa panahon na yun. Ad interim po lahat ng appointee ng gobyerno until that session starts. So until the session of Congress starts and the Commission on Appointments can meet. So baka po instead of confirmed appointees, baka mas mabuti po na sabihin na permanent appointee since ang ad interim naman po ay isa ding permanent appointee according to our law. Yung so yun po yung isang concern po dun sa butas, no, dun sa between June 30 at yung sa SONA po when the session of Congress will start.
Attorney Roberto.
Magandang hapon po. Sa aking pagsasaliksik, yung section 17, article 17, wait, section 7 pertains to vacancies occurring at the start of the term. Okay, yun ang as distinguished sa section 8 at during the vacancies occurring in midterm. Okay, so punta tayo sa section 7. So kung ang vacancy nag-occur during at the start of the term na walang nag-oath taking, walang na-proclaim na presidente, walang or namatay or disabled, nag-resign, whatever, pati rin yung mga senator, yun ang senaryo dito yung pati rin yung Senate President and the Speaker of the House. So lahat, apat sila. So ngayon, sino walang holdover dito Okay, so there will be no cabinet at that time. Pag wala yung apat na yun, okay, walang cabinet, kung walang, therefore, there will be no one who will issue appointments at interim or regular appointments. Kasi ang start of Congress sa July, 4th Monday of July pa, June 30 hanggang 4th Monday of July, walang mag-i-issue ng mga appointments. Therefore, dun sa bill nito, how come na magkakaroon tayo ng isang appointment when there is no acting president during that time? So kailangan magkaroon ng acting president who is not any of the members of the cabinet. Kasi wala ng cabinet at that time. Di ba? Kasi magkakumbin pa lang ang Congress 4th Monday of July. So yung interim na yon, walang mag-a-appoint. So therefore, ang natitirang officials will be sino yun? Yung mga senador, yung mga elected senators and congressmen. So doon tayo mamimili sila kasi walang holdover yun. They were elected. Except yung 12 senators, tuloy-tuloy sila sa kanilang terms. Okay? So ito, base sa pag-aaral ko, under Father Joaquin Bernas, my professor. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I believe yung concern ni Attorney De Mailio, I believe that even those interim, merong cabinet secretaries. Kaya sa tingin ko hindi yun problema. Ang problema talaga nakikita ko, katulad ng binanggit ng kuliko dito, yung Section 7 kasi, we are providing only for the contingency for only more than 1 month. That's between presidential election and noon of 30th of June. But we don't provide for a contingency after noon of 30th of June, where there was a president who already took an oath of office and assumed position. So, yung kung kasi ang rational ng bill binasa ko, syempre mga tensions and conflicts, nag-provide lang tayo ng dito ng contingency for barely 2 months. So, tingin ko ang suggestion ko, i-expand yung bill na i-provide yung contingency ng Section 8. At kasi sa yung US Presidential Succession Act, included yung contingency na when there was no president who was who took an oath of office, and also when during Section 7 is a contingency where there is a vacancy before the beginning of the term of the president. So that's before noon of 30th of June. Section 7 is when there is permanent vacancy during incumbency of the president. So that's more important for me. That's more important than Section 7 kasi yung contingency is kung sa president that will be 6 months. Tapos sa pangalawang concern ko, Your Honors, yung tama yung the former Congressman Colmenares, may konting nakita kong ambiguity sa language ng section 2. Bukod dun sa sinabi sa yung unding part na sinabi ni Congressman Colmenares, yung I understand that we at least borrow some lines dun sa Presidential Succession Act of 1947 ng US. Yung halimbawa itong highest on the following list. Alam ko yan, trace yan dun sa US law. Pero may konting ambiguity dyan. Ano ibig sabihin ng highest on following list? Ano ba highest on the position? Highest sa kung sino unang na-appoint? So I suggest dapat medyo clear yan. Halimbawa, highest ba sa in the following order? Parang ganun ang dapat na nakita ko na dapat na gusto ko lang din mag-comment sa sinabi ng ilang mga colleagues ko. I agree to the opinion of Senator Coco na in case we appoint a cabinet secretary, there is no constitutional prohibition on that. Kasi if there is a law providing for it, then there will be no problem. That's what the Constitution says. So walang problema kahit nasa secretary.
Concise or accurate language, possibly covering two scenarios, possibly, and then siguro lengthening the list para kung may sablay nga, we are also entertaining that contingency na may sablay, we can give life to the measure. So with that, Mr. Chairman, pero meron pa kasi nagtaas pa ng kamay, Mr. Chairman. I don't know, it's your call. It's your call.
Maraming salamat po sa ating pinunong minorya. Sige po, sir, bago ko po ilipat, sige po.
Yeah, thank you. Now, again, just to, I actually completely agree with the comments of my colleague here. Ang importante rin kasi yung practicality. The reason why you want to give it, remember, we're talking here of a wipeout of 4, the top 4. So there's nobody else except you can't go naman to the judiciary kasi nga because of the unelected principal thing. So we're looking here at the practicality that the reason why historically you give it sa DFA or sa Secretary of State, and as far as the US is concerned, is for purposes of stability sa international relations with other. You do not want to give it to the DND agad kasi if you're in a state of war, then gagawin mo siya presidente, then magkakaroon ka parang appointment sa DND. So dapat agad muna sa Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Kung talaga hindi pwede, then you go to, in fact, as far as the succession is concerned, the second one would be in the Department of Finance, which is the Secretary of Treasury, and then before that you go. Again, the balance here yung practicality at saka yung sa legality of it, I think is something we should look at. Pero before I give the mic, I think there's one scenario, and I think somebody mentioned scenario here. We did not. I would like sana to suggest a scenario with regard to temporary incapacity, because of the fact that we don't have yet right now. Normally we talk about death, disability, permanent disability, and so on. But what if, for example, and which is what happened in the 1980s when, for example, si Reagan was attempted assassination, Bush was not able to be contacted because of the fact that he was, I think, flying off somewhere. And so there was already a confusion kung sino yung papalit at that moment. And at that moment, remember, it was also Cold War. So if you're in a state of, for example, conflict or hostilities, and there's a possibility na incapacitated temporarily yung president, who takes over? Now, normally what we do is we go to the executive secretary, kung magkasundo sila, or if they're from the same party, the vice president. But I think this is something we should settle na as quickly as possible. Now, if it happens that both president and vice president are both temporarily incapacitated, let's say they're flying off somewhere, they're in transit and what have you, then who automatically takes over in that case, and who makes the final call as far as government is concerned? So, thank you very much.
React, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dino. Pero we are answering the mandate of the Constitution that the Congress shall by law. Acting president ito. Yun yata scenarios mo. I mean, there is difficulty contacting them. I mean, dapat yung mga contingency na ganyan, executive na bahala doon. I mean, di ba? Dapat kung lilipad ako, I should designate sinong in charge for the moment. Pero this one is acting because of this very remote possibility. We're hoping na hindi mangyari na na-wipe out ngayong 4.
And also, I'm talking about the possibility, let's say, let's say, and I hope it never happens, attempted assassination, the president cannot designate kung sinong papalit sa kanya.
Any ba, Vice President?
But that's not written in the rules. Normally, if that would be the case, that's why means pag lumilipad yung president, normally, ang dinedesignate niya executive secretary to take over. It's only recently that we have the vice president taking over.
Correct.
So that's why I was suggesting it could be possible to...
Pag-isipan na lang din namin yan. Thank you for the input, Dean.
Meron po pong isa? Okay, sige po. Hindi ko lang po nakikita yung pangalan niyo. Pasensya na po kayo.
Sir, I just would like to add on the I think Senator, the majority floor leader earlier made a very good point that the situation contemplated in the Senate bill of our minority leader is a situation where there are only 12 senators who are active incumbent officials. So our position is, instead of going to the roster of the cabinet members, maybe, sir, we can entertain that the acting president should come from among the 12 senators, and maybe we can come up with mechanism how you select someone from the 12 incumbent remaining senators.
Salamat po. Wala na po. Pero po.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Napaka-technical po ng pinag-uusapan natin. Pero sa totoo lang po, natatakot po ako sa aking mga i-imagine, lalo na po sa apat na ito na napaka-vulnerable po. Napanood ko po kasi yung Designated Survivor sa Netflix. So, honestly, vulnerable po tayo pagka-abuso na natin. Kaya po, magsasalita lang po sana ako para i-urge po ang committee sa pagpasa po ng mga batas na kakailanganin po natin dito sa Section 7 and Section 8. Dahil nga po, kailangan pong mapalagay ng ating mga kababayan sa mga ganitong kapanahunan po. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, salamat po. Justice, opo.
Sir Chairman, I just would like to point out that you cannot possibly put the Chief Justice as a designated acting president because of the provision in Section 12 of our Constitution, Article 7. The members of the Supreme Court and of other courts established by law shall not be designated to any agency performing quasi-judicial or administrative functions. So it would be unconstitutional, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po, Justice. Isa na lang po. Sige po, Pastor. Opo. Opo.
Ang akin lamang po uling nais sabihin, yun pong succession for interim president or acting president, kinakailangan po merong mandato nasyonal. Huwag po nating isama na yung mga agents o persons in authority. Wala pong mandato yun eh. Ang sa succession po natin, meron po mga national, sa ating present form, ang meron lang pong national mandate, mga senador, presidente, vice-presidente, at mga senador. So yung succession, doon po manggagaling yung merong national mandato. 24 po ang senador natin, mahirap na sigurong mangyari yung maubos lahat yung 24. So, ganun po dapat yun. Yung po mga kongreso, yun nga po sinasabi kong depekto. Hindi po dapat kasama yung mga regional o local mandate. Yun po lamang masasabi ko.
Maraming salamat po. Attorney Duca, last na po. Opo. Yung mismong ginawa po ng panukalang batas, ang gusto po niya sumulong na tayo sa TWG. Sige po.
Thank you, Your Honor. Kung naalala ko po yung paghalukay ko sa mga bills, meron pong proposal dati si former Senator Lacson na the succession should be in accordance with the seniority of the senators. Pag naubos na sila, yung members of the House. Hindi naman pa. Sorry for the term. Hindi naubos na po yung how do we put that? Anyway po, so yun ang kanya, yung seniority ng mga senators. Kung pwede po natin tingnan yun. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po. Sa palagay ko po, itong usapin na ito, talagang kailangan na po natin isulong sapagkat 1935, 1987, nandiyan po sa konstitusyon. Siguro ito na po yung panahon talaga para aksyonan po ng Kongreso ang usapin na ito. At tayo po ay nagkakasundo na itong mga panahon na ito, kailangan na natin itong batas na ito. At yung kapatid natin na nagsabing natatakot siya, nasaan na ba? Si attorney? Opo. Wag po tayong matakot. Kailangan lang natin harapin po ito. Meron na po akong siguro kailangan pag nag-TWG, magsasuggest din po ako, magbibigay din po ako ng mga ano. Ngayon po, magpapasalamat po tayo kay Senator Coco Pimentel. Senator, baka may gusto po kayo dagdag?
Siguro pa, just a final comment dito po. Ang gusto ko lang naman mangyari dito, Mr. Chairman, is mag-comply tayo, Congress, sa Constitution. Kasi sinabi, the Congress shall by law. Hindi kailangan masunod yung idea ko. Okay? Hindi importante yon. Basta importante, we comply with the mandate of the Constitution. Ilang years na ba? 37 years na hindi na natin na-comply. So, siguro isang aral dito, mag-audit din tayo. Ano pa ba ang may ibang mandato sa Constitution na that Congress shall by law do na hindi pa natin nagagawa? Ito, kaya nga inumpisahan ko ito para makapasok tayo dun sa ganon na Mr. Chairman. So, anti-dynasty law, ano pa ba? So, yun po. Salamat po, Mr. Chairman, at binigyan nyo ng importansya ito na kahit na tayong Pilipino, ayaw natin pag-usapan yung pinakamasasamang mangyayari sa buhay natin. Pero tignan nyo yung Amerika, ready na sila way back. Ganon. So, ganon. Dapat kaya natin pag-usapan yung masamang senaryo na mangyari sa bansa, ready tayo. Itong isang example nun. So we will prepare for this at sa tingin ko kayang-kaya with our resource persons Okay, basta help us in the TWG, hindi naman kailangan yung ideas ko po ang manaig. Okay, basta we comply with the law. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.